Good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening. I'm Janice Williamson, and this is my yoga class today. It's a Yin Yoga class, and I'm just experimenting with poetry, and I'm going to read, I'm just going to read poems from Phyllis Webb. These are Ghazals and Anti Ghazals, and that is a poetic form that is associated with Sufism, and it's a very ancient form. It's in a series of couplets, and these there's a short series she has called "The Birds." And Phyllis Webb she died a few years ago. She's a really remarkable woman. She's one of the women. She started ideas with someone else many years ago. She was in the CBC, and then she suddenly left and moved to Salt Spring Island, lived there for many decades. And I think she wrote maybe one of the first lesbian poems in Canada, I think. And it was a very interesting, beautiful poem, long poem. And the only reason you knew it was a lesbian poem was on the chair, there was a blouse instead of a shirt. It was very subtle and quite gorgeous. Anyway, so she's she was a favorite poet of mine, and I went to interview her in about 1982. And I remember taking the ferry to Salt Spring Island and going to the little beach below where she was living and doing a yoga practice because I was so nervous about interviewing her. I was a graduate student doing my PhD on her work, and I had to do my Hatha yoga practice on the beach, and it calmed me down. Oh, here comes Marianne. So today we're going to do this practice. Now, you can have, if you feel like it, I'm not sure what props you'll need, but you could have, if you wanted, blocks, and you could have a strap, you could have an iPad for when we do final relaxation, some kind of something to put over your eyes. You could have pillows and bolsters if you like, to give you some support. So, I've got a little blanket that I sit on. I also have this that I just bought at a dollar store. It's got little beans in it, but it's a fantastic thing actually to sit on for yoga. So you can make props out of anything, really. And so we'll just begin. We'll begin by starting to sit in butterfly. And we'll just have our feet together, and we'll feel our sit bones. We can move forward and back here. We'll feel our sit bones settling in to the ground. And you could have, if you wanted to have blocks, or you could have bolsters or pillows underneath your legs if it's too painful. Because you want Yin Yoga is really about resilience. And it's I bought this book like many years ago. It's 2002. I remember taking a Yin Yoga class many years ago. This is by Paul Grilly, and he's very steeped in Chinese meridians and medicine. And so Yin Yoga, according to Paul Grilly and others, is about energizing yourself through the chakras in yoga philosophy and the meridians in Chinese medicine. So we're just sitting here with our legs, feeling this opening in our groin and feeling this centering in our spine. So we're feeling axial elongation here, where our axial spine that goes from the bones in our inner ear all the way down to our tailbone. And we're feeling that settling in feeling. And you can roll your shoulders around a little bit just as we get settled here, just to feel a little movement in your shoulders. And So I'm inviting you to breathe, inhaling and exhaling. We'll inhale for 4 and hold for 4 and exhale for 4, and see if this is too much. You just develop your own breath pacing. I'm going to inhale for 4 and then hold and then exhale for 4. Inhale, hold, exhale. Inhale, hold, exhale. Inhale, hold, exhale. And I'll let you continue on with your breathing. And I'll read the first poem, which is from The Birds, from Water and Light Ghazals by Phyllis Webb. And this was published by Coach House Press in 1984. Yoko Ono was seen in the Empress Hotel today. She can never be seen for herself alone again. Shots ring out in Iran, Afghanistan, El Salvador. At night, here, pit lampers kill deer. Everywhere the killings go on. In my own hand, a flea died only yesterday. I sit in my quilted jacket, calling the birds, whose warning cries strike just beyond the window. And I'll invite you just to continue your breathing and let those words resonate in you. The ghazal is a form, and Phyllis Webb's Ghazals and Anti Ghazals are intended just to provoke contemplation. So one couplet rubs up against another couplet, one image rubs up against another image. And through that, a process of synesthesia, a kind of third image, arises in your consciousness. So we don't have to feel we are not getting the message, because the message is really an experience that we should just relax into and feel ourselves entering in. And as I mentioned before, Yin Yoga is about resilience. It's not about enduring terrible pain, but it is about discomfort and finding your edge. So if you find that your legs are hurting and it's too painful, you can draw them together and just stretch your legs out. Or you could put blocks or pillows underneath your thighs to give them a little bit of a rest. And if you like now, you can slowly walk your hands forward over your legs, over your feet, And just round your back and settle in. And once again, if that's too much, you can you can hold your hands on the outside of your thighs and draw them in and stretch your legs out. But we're going to just stay here for a minute or so. And now I'll invite you just to roll up and put your hands on the outside of your thighs and draw them in towards each other, placing your feet on the ground. And then you can extend your legs out and you can just jiggle them a little bit. Good. Now we're going to do another posture that opens the groin a bit. And this is in Hatha Yoga, it's Firelog. In Yin Yoga, it's called the square pose. So you just put one leg down with your knee bent, your feet are flexed, and then you put the other leg on top. And once again, you can put a block underneath your leg if you like, or a pillow, and find a way to just sit for a minute. And we'll just stay for a minute here. And once again, I'll invite you to return to the breath, and an even breath that allows you to really center in. And here is the next untitled ghazal from the series The Birds by Phyllis Webb. My dear ladies, birds of a feather, the astounding patience of your hatching. Your little eggs drop into the thatched nest just like that. Flup, flup, flup. Speckled, tinted, and within miniatures of your own birdiness held in suspension. Chirp, chirp, and trill. Yes, as the acid rain falls on your Easter feathers, you puff up. Ladies, ladies, how you confound me with your embroidered eyes, your faithful smiles, your dear familiar songs. And now we can just lift that leg up and stretch it out, and lift the other leg up, stretch it out, shake, 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 and then we'll try the other side. So whatever leg was on top, put the other one up, put the and I'm putting my left leg on top this time. And once again, both feet are flexed and you're in this square position and you're feeling that axial elongation. In fact, we can stretch our arms up just for a minute and really feel ourselves moving upward and finding that place of equilibrium between the front and the back, the sides. And here we are. So we can lower our arms down and you can rest them on your thighs or on the ground, whatever you feel like. And maybe I'll read that one again because it's so evocative of birds. My dear ladies, birds of a feather, the astounding patience of your hatching. Your little eggs drop into the thatched nest just like that. Flop, 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 flop. Speckled, tinted, and within, miniatures of your own birdiness held in suspension. Chirp, chirp, and trill. Yes, as the acid rain falls on your Easter feathers, you puff up. Ladies, ladies, how you confound me with your embroidered eyes, your faithful smiles, your dear familiar songs. So if one of the things we're doing in Yin Yoga and in yoga itself is attending, is developing our attention, I think poetry allows us to feel ourselves centering in, attending to the sound of the words or their meaning or the images or the overall effect. It allows us to be here in this very moment of the poem, in the posture. Okay, now we're going to just put our feet down and press our legs together. And I'm just moving them back and forth to give my hips a little swivel. And now I'm extending them out and shaking them a little. Good. So now we're going to work on our forward bend. And here, once again, we can sit on something. I've got this little thing, or a blanket, or a bolster if we want more height. And I have a strap, which I'm going to use. And I'm just going to find myself with the strap on the, maybe I'll move back a bit so you can see my feet. I'm going to sit so that my strap is on the arches of my feet here. And I'm just sitting up very, as straight as I possibly can, so that I'm once again finding my sitting bones, feeling that lovely imaginary string that a thread, let's call it a thread, that runs from my crown chakra at the tip top of my head down my spine. And with all those lovely curves in the spine, it winds its way to the tailbone. So we want to have a neutral spine. We don't want to be having our chest arching forward or back. And we can just hold on to the straps and feel ourselves just sitting here. And this is quite an active pose. I'm pressing into my heels and I'm feeling quite a bit of energy in this posture. And as I'm breathing, inhaling and exhaling, I'm just tipping forward with a straight back. I can't go too far with a straight back, but I'll just rest here for a moment with a straight back. And then I'm just going to curve my spine over my legs. And you can, if you're able to, you could hold on to your shins or your ankles or your feet. You could hold on to the outside of your feet, your big toes, but you want to have your feet pressing as though on a wall in front of you. So your toe mounds and your heels are pressing with about the same strength and energy, and you can just drop your head. And we're just going to stay here for a couple of moments. And once again, we're inhaling and exhaling with a really beautiful rhythmic pattern. So you can settle in and you can feel yourself settling into the posture. Once again, there might be some discomfort. You can go down till you find your edge, and then you can pull back a little bit, and then you can settle into it a little bit more, finding your edge, and you can pull back a bit, and then settle into it a bit more, finding your edge, and then rising up a bit with your inhalation and exhaling a little bit further down. And your chest is actually moving towards your knees and towards your feet as you go down. And you're settling in. And I'll read another poem for Mary Melfi, who was also a writer who lived in British Columbia at the time. I'd never hate to see flamingos walking out of the mango patch. I'd never hate to see flamingos walking out of the mango patch. What should I tell her who can see in the mirror the chance of a bird standing on one pink leg? What should I tell her who can see in the mirror the chance of a bird standing on one pink leg? Tell her to shut her eyes tight, boil her ears in essence of camellias, turn herself over to the green haunt orchid on the next blue Monday. Why should I tell her anything? She's the queen holding a mummified cat. What should I tell her who can see in the mirror the chance of a bird standing on one pink leg? Tell her to shut her eyes tight, boil her ears in essence of camellias, turn herself over to the green haunt orchid on the next blue Monday? Why should I tell her anything? She's the queen holding a mummified cat. Okay, and now you can roll up and you can shake your legs out and feel happy in the moment, in the respite from the forward bend. Now we're going to try dragon, and it is I'll show you what it looks like. It looks like this, and I'm going to do it, but I just thought you might want to see it here. So the front leg is the knees bent, and the back leg, the knee is on the ground. And if you're very supple, you can end up in the splits, but we won't be doing that today. At least I won't be, but if you can do the splits, you go right ahead. So we're just going to, I'll do it on the side here. I'm going to put my put my right leg out in front and my left leg, my knees down. So you might want extra padding for your knee. And we're just bringing our leg forward, and you can have it in different, you can have it so that the knee is over the ankle, and you can stretch the back leg back so that the knee is on the ground, but you might want some extra padding. And now we're just going to sit up, and you can put, if you want, you can put both knees, hands on your knee. And you can bring your knee in a little bit more, a little bit. You can press into your knee if you like, or you can have your foot out and just press your knee forward. So, and the object here is to extend the knee back far enough that you get a good stretch in this groin. So this is called dragon. And yesterday I did it in a class, and we were against the wall and we lifted the back leg up and had it flat against the wall, but we won't do that today. But that's another variation that you could do. And of course, you could lift the back leg up and hold on to the foot, but we won't do that today. So we're just going to stay here. This might be quite uncomfortable. If it is, you can come out at any time. You can go into child's pose or whatever you like. I'm just going to stay here for another minute or so. And I'll read another poem, which will distract us from the general discomfort of this pose. Okay, here it is. This is the new poem. Once again, another bird poem. Gray-eyed dryad, have you seen one, if only for the sound of gray-eyed dryad, or gull gone into blue empyrean, the lift of wind fabulous, flowing, free for all. Nothing is pure praxis. Axis of this globe sends degree by degree us into curved path of portent, accident, perishable. I said dryad, look at her, here. Gray-eyed dryad, or gull gone into blue empyrean, the lift of wind fabulous, flowing, free for all. Nothing is pure praxis. Axis of this globe sends degree by degree us into curved path of portent, accident, perishable. I sad dryad, look at her, here. Okay, and now we can just move back. Let's move back and straighten out that leg and lift the heel up and see how that feels. And if you like, you can put your toes down and actually give your toes a stretch, give your calves a bit of a rest. So this is, I think I'm just going to go back and forth here for a few minutes just to give myself a little stretch and a little rest from that dragon, which was fairly uncomfortable for me. All right. So now you can bring that foot back and we'll try the other side and see how that feels. Here we go. I'm putting my left leg forward. And here, I'm working here. So you can, in fact, you can feel here, you can feel the hip flexor stretching on the opposite leg. And you can feel something in your glute here as well. So I'm just sitting up and I'm pressing my hand into the leg and, sort of pushing my knee forward a bit and feeling, once again, the opening in the other hip flexor. I can move my knee back to give it a bit more of a stretch and see how that feels. So we're balancing here and we should have our chest up here and feel that opening in our chest as well as we just inhale and exhale, really feeling a beautiful stretch that should not be excruciating. It should be uncomfortable. And it's a little bit of a balance here as well. I feel myself teetering a little. And I'll read a short poem here. The varied thrush, the orchard oriole, the crying dove, the skin smooth olive green with a red pimento heart. The varied thrush, the orchard oriole, the crying dove, the skin smooth olive green with a red pimento heart. I wonder if she's drinking a martini. I don't know. And now we can just push back and go onto our heel in the front and stretch over that leg with I'm going to pull on my toes here. And on the back, I'm going to put my toes onto the surface of the mat. So I'm stretching my toes in the back as well. And I'm going to move forward. And then I'm going to move back. Forward and back. Forward and back. And now I'm going to move my legs back so I'm on my knees. And I'm going to sit for a moment in this toe stretching pose, which is good for old women like me and for young people like you. If you're very young, you can't do too much to your toes in terms of stretching them and keeping them healthy, and your feet, really your arches working and all parts of your feet working. So we're just sitting here for 2 minutes. And this may be really very uncomfortable for you. If it is, you can just sit on your heels, or you can sit in a comfortable position. Now, here's another beautiful bird poem. These are really, when you come right down to it, quite surrealist because they invite really a flight of the imagination. There's the kind of logic of ordinary syntax doesn't really work here. So here is peacock blue, words fail me, fish star for the packed, inbred splendor of this bird, his strut, the cock of his head, a royal courtier in the barnyard, Essex. See how the fabulous points into the spectrum, pecks out accurately, a blue-green scream for Elizabeth. It is morning. It is the first morning of creation. An absurd idea, but I tell you, fish star, the color of chaos was not peacock blue. All right. And I don't know how your toes are, but mine are really burning. And I'm inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. And now I'm going to lean forward and stretch my toes out here. And I'm going to slap my feet on the ground to get the blood working. There, that was satisfying. Now, the next pose we're going to do is on our stomach. We're going to do what's called infant in Yin, but it's kind of like Locust in Hatha yoga. So we're just going to stretch out on our tummy and with our legs going back and our arms at our side here. And I think in the Yin practice that's outlined in this book, you just kind of go up, but I think I'll do some preparatory
locust practice. So we're just going to lift our shoulders up, leave our forehead on the ground, lifting our shoulders up, leaving the forehead on the ground, lifting our shoulders up, leaving the forehead on the ground. And now lifting the shoulders up, and then the head, and the chest. And then we're going to roll down. And we're just going to lift our head up, our shoulders. And now we can lift our arms up. And our palms are facing the ceiling. And we're just going to stay here for a moment. Inhaling and exhaling. And if you like, you can lift your legs up, pointing your toes. And we're just really working to breathe in this posture and stay suspended for a moment. I'll just think of Peacock Blue. I won't read a poem because it's difficult to read from this position. But maybe I'll read just a few lines of that poem. Peacock blue, words fail me, fish star for the packed, inbred splendor of this bird, his strut, the cock of his head, a royal courtier in the barnyard, Essex. See how the fabulous points into the spectrum, pecks out accurately, a blue-green scream for Elizabeth. It is morning, it is the first morning of creation, an absurd idea. But I tell you, fish star, the color of chaos was not peacock blue. All right, you can come down. Good. I cheated. I didn't do it as long as you did, so that must have been a bit excruciating. Okay, now back we come. And we're going to do seal, which is a back bend, another back bend. And it is just, once again, on your stomach, stay on your stomach. And put your hands out a little bit in front and beside your shoulders. And we're just going to press back into this posture, lifting up. And you can straighten your arms if you can. If this is too hard for you, you can move your arms out a little bit. So the point of this is not to have any pain in your lower back at all. You're pressing your pelvis into the ground, and you're pressing your fronts of your feet and your thighs into the ground, and you're pressing your hands, and you can rotate your hands out towards the side here. That might give you a little bit more space. And you should feel the opening in your chest and a lovely stretch here. We're just going to stay here for a moment or two and really feel how our spine is becoming more mobile with every breath. As we breathe, we can feel the front ribs opening up with each breath, and the side ribs. And we're just resting here. And the next one is about crow or something or other, crow-like. Brightness burns off the coal black shimmering bats of the branch. The common crow, ill-tempered and always hungry, infested with matter, shooting out flares from your winter gangland, bouncing the bow with harumph. Incendiaries of the bad news, you flaming newsprint. What do you mean in this religious dark, damning me with feathers and your hot light? I love that. A murder of crows. Brightness burns off the coal black shimmering brats of the branch, the common crow, ill-tempered and always hungry, infested with matter, shooting out flares from your winter gangland, bouncing the bow with harumphs. Incendiaries of the bad news, you flaming newsprint. What do you mean in this religious dark,
damming me with feathers and your hot light. And now we can just roll down slowly. And you can just put your head on your hands or your forehead on your hands, whatever is most comfortable. And we'll have a short rest here. Inhaling and exhaling. And when you have had a moment's rest, you can just push back, put your hands underneath your shoulders and push back into child's pose. And you can keep your knees wide apart if you like, and just settle back onto your heels. And you can keep your hands out in front of you if you like, or you can put your forehead on the floor and draw your hands behind you on the side of your torso, of your lower legs and your feet. And we're just going to rest here in child's pose for a couple of moments. Four swans in Fulford Harbor, 30 on Somenos Lake, wings uprush of inspiration, brush past the broken shell of my ear. In bodies of water and air, ructions, lacunae, a green canary breasts round her nest, claws footholding the world. Sweep this way, the clean sweep, and jealous ringing, spare-hearted gong. 4 swans in Fulford Harbor, 30 on Somenos Lake, wings, uprush of inspiration, brush past the broken shell of my ear. In bodies of water and air, ructions, lacunae, a green canary breasts round her nest, claws footholding the world. Sweep this way, the clean sweep, and jealous ringing, spare-hearted gong. And now you can come up, and we're just going to do a spinal twist, which is exactly like the spinal twist we do on our back, laying on our back. We can raise one leg up, a right leg up, the left leg is bent, and we can cross our thighs over. And you can, if you're really, you can wrap your toe around your other calf, if you can do that, like an eagle leg. If you can't, no problem, I can't do that. But we're just shifting our legs over to my knees are dropping to the left and my hips have shifted to the right, and I'm looking towards the right here with a spinal twist. And here we're just inhaling and exhaling and feeling, in this case, my knees are going to the left and my right front and side ribs are open here as I look towards the right. And when I'm inhaling, I'm really feeling as though those ribs are opening up. The air is moving in between them. It's as though they're porous, like a coral leaf. And then I'm exhaling. And I'm feeling the air come into deep into my belly, filling up my belly, my mid chest and my upper chest. And then exhale, I exhale from the top down. Inhale from the bottom up. And exhale from the top down. And I'm going to read the first ghazal in the book, which tells you a little bit about how she made her poems. She used to have a pile of index cards where she would write a word on it, and then she'd pick these in the morning, and this would inspire her. And the kind of proliferation of images was in part because of these cards. I watch the pile of cards grow. I semaphore for help, calling stone dead John Thompson. John Thompson was a poet, a contemporary, who also wrote beautiful ghazals. I watch the pile of cards grow. I semaphore for help, calling stone dead John Thompson. A mist in the harbor. Hydrangea blooms turn pink. A game of badminton. Shuttlecock. Hitting at feathers. My family is a circumstance I cannot dance with. At Banff, I danced in black. So crazy, the young man insisting. 4 or 5 couplets trying to dance into Persia. Who dances in Persia now? A magic carpet, a prayer mat, red, a knocked off head of somebody on her broken knees. I watch the pile of cards grow. I semaphore for help. And now you can just lift your legs up and go back to the center and lift the opposite leg and wrap it over. In this case, my left leg is wrapping over my right. I'm shifting my hips to the left, dropping my knees to the right, extending my arms out and looking towards the left. I watch the pile of cards grow. I semaphore for help, calling stone dead John Thompson. A mist in the harbor. Hydrangea blooms turn pink. A game of badminton, shuttlecock, hitting at feathers. My family is a circumstance I cannot dance with. At Banff, I danced in black. So crazy, the young man insisting. 4 or 5 couplets trying to dance into Persia. Who dances in Persia now? A magic carpet, a prayer mat, red, a knocked off head of somebody on her broken knees. And now you can come back and we'll just shift our hips to the center and we'll hold on to the inside of our feet, of the outside of our feet, and raise the soles of our feet up into happy baby. And we'll just rest here for a moment. You can rock a little bit back and forth. And this should be a very opening, relaxing pose. This is really a squat upside down. So it does some of the work of squat. I find I have a problem with my knee, so it's much easier to do a squat lying on my back. And we're just going to breathe here. And it's like an internal massage of your intestines with your thighs pressing into them. And we're just inhaling and exhaling. And I'll read the epigraph to this poem, which is quite lovely. So the book is called Water and Light, Ghazals or Ghazals and Anti Ghazals. Light, this is the epigraph. Light, 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 light. Old doom pining away in forest's mossy undergrowth. Weary, 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 weary. Oh, Lord Krishna, dance. Shiva, dance. Your anklet bells waking the water lilies in the pool. Water and light, water and light, and the grand dark attending. And now you can move out of that pose, and you can, they have a pose in Yin Yoga that's called Pentacle. And it really is just stretching your legs out. If this is uncomfortable, with wide, you can stretch your legs out so that they're fairly wide. Your feet are, say, mat width apart. And your hands are out, stretched out, so that they're above shoulder height, and you're just feeling the sense of openness. And you can feel your shoulders. You can lift your shoulders up and let them drop so that your shoulder blades are moved down your back. It's called Pentangle. I like that word, Pentangle. So you can certainly just move into your regular Savasana, or you can, if it's comfortable, you can rest in this pose. And I'm just wiggling my hips back and forth to settle them into the ground. And I'm moving my feet back and forth. And I'm whirling my toes around a bit to give my ankles a little bit of movement. And then I'm letting my feet drop. And I actually don't find this very restful with my arms up. So I'm going to move my arms down into more traditional Shavasana position. But you can leave your hands up above shoulder height if you like. And I'm just lifting my shoulders up and dropping them down and moving my head from side to side and lifting my hands up, doing a bit of a body scan to see where there's any strain and feeling the skin on my forehead just let go. The lines on my forehead are smoothing out. I'm losing decades in this Shavasana. And I'm feeling my jaw slacken, my tongue fall into my lower jaw. My mouth is partially open. I'm breathing through my nose. So there's no strain in my face. I can feel my ears, that half shell of my ears, just relaxing. I love that image, the half shell of your ears. And I'm feeling my scalp relax. I'm feeling my body settle into the floor, into the mat. The mat's opening up and welcoming me as I inhale and exhale. And I'll leave you in silence for 2 moments, about 2 minutes. Let that image
of water and light, water and light, water and light, 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 water and light, and the grand dark attending. And we can feel our body coming back to active life. We can feel tingling in our toes and our fingertips. And we can feel our legs begin to move a little, and our hands and our arms. We can rock our head back and forth gently. And we can draw our knees into our body, give them a warm hug. Welcome yourself into this day. And you can roll onto one side and rest there for a moment until you feel you're ready to put your hands on the ground and press in to them and come up to an upright position. Or you can just stay on the ground. And I have my eyes closed and I can see the shimmer of water and light, the shimmer of light on water, and how it dazzles. And I want to thank you for coming to your mat today and for settling in to a yin practice that cultivates resilience and patience. And I want to thank you for listening to Phyllis Webb's puzzling and beautiful poems. She really was a magnificent woman, and I'm so glad we have her poems to read and to listen to. So I'll thank you, and I'll thank all of the teachers I've had over the course of my life,
beginning with Shivananda teachers and Esther Myers, and moving through Teddy Heineman and teachers I had here in Edmonton, and Pat Harada, Lynn Foote, and Jen, and Darcy, and all of the others, and Angela, and Lana. And I thank you. I thank the teacher in you and the student in you. Have a wonderful day.